What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Major League Baseball live stream. It's version 2 of this, and we're going to be bringing you this some daytime stuff and some nighttime stuff throughout the course of this season. So make sure you're locked in on the SportsLine channel. Enough about me, enough about us, enough about SportsLine. Let's bring in the stars of the show. We have some urgency here, folks, because we got Tom Casale and the sniper, Matt Snyder, for now, but we will have AMags joining us in a second. We will have Zack Cimini joining us in just a second. People rotating in and out. But we've got a game, Sniper. It's your team. It's the Cubs and the Pirates. We actually talked about this on the early edge, how we thought there was value on the Cubs in spite of the fact that Skeens was on the mound. But we're starting in 2.5 minutes. Do you have a play early in this one? And then, Tom, I'll go to you.
Yes, I'm actually going to go Colin Ray. No hits allowed in the first inning. The Pirates only hit 217 as a team. They only have one hit in the first inning all season, believe that or not. Or no, Colin Ray's only allowed one hit. That would be horrible for the Pirates. They do only hit 206 in the first inning, though. Man, that was stupid of me to say that. Only a 160 average for Colin Ray allowed first time through the order. So I really like no hits in the first inning.
And that's plus 110.
Yes, it was plus
okay.
I grabbed
it. That's interesting because no run first inning, I think, is where a lot of people want to go there. And I think that one, Tom, we were talking pre-show, Matt, I think that might be minus 140. Tom, I want to go to you, and then I want to talk about that play. Oh, that is play, isn't it? Go ahead.
Yeah, I went under a half run in the first inning, and Matt hit it on the head. Skeens on the mound, but I'm fading the Pirates offense here, who does not get off to fast starts. And I also agree with the value on the Cubs. I think whenever you have a pitcher like Skeens, especially on a bad team, you're always going to find value if you go the other way. And I think this is a good matchup for the Cubs overall.
It's interesting, too, gentlemen, as people are kind of trying to get this bet in. You got about 90 seconds to get those first inning, those no runs, no hits first inning. Well, you got time, right? But what's interesting is this line, I think, and I don't know if you all know this, but I'm pretty sure that, and I'm looking at BetMGM right now as we see it on the screen, is what's up, Zach? We see it plus 105 for Chicago. I'm pretty sure this was like plus 15, plus 120 this morning, and maybe even last night in the plus 130 range. So clearly, people are wise to the fact that, yeah, Skeens is on the mound, but this Pittsburgh team doesn't hit. Would you consider anybody taking this at the plus 105, or have we just lost, 20, 25 cents? You just kind of lay off it at this point. Sniper, I'll go to you.
I would be good with taking the plus 105 there still. I mean, the Cubs are a much better team. They can hit throughout the game. And one thing that's interesting is I often talk about familiarity and how that can help breed success for the hitters. Obviously, Skeens is a different animal because he's such an amazing pitcher, but the Cubs have already seen him 4 times in his career. That's more than anybody else. So if some of these hitters are starting to get a feel for his stuff, maybe they have a little bit more of a chance to break through.
All right. I'm looking. We got AMags in here as well. I'm trying to make these bets just like you. So this will be the kind of show where I'm not always locked in on the screen. I like, at one point, Ben, I want to get sort of like maybe like some sort of like tally, and that will involve some of the people in the chat as well. Big Cheesy has Tucker over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs at minus 120, where we just tally all the bets that we considered, maybe all the ones that we kind of confirmed we liked, and just see how they go, especially when it comes to the live plays. All right, we got Zach, we got AMags in here, we got the Cubs game about to start. We're going to shift to Cardinals Reds in a second, but I do want to ask AMags, you liked no run first inning in this first one, Cubs Pirates as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I threw no run first inning down. I think that'd be a nice little sweat here, but also too, if you want to have some fun on the Paul Skeens props, FanDuel generally, I think Skeens is one of the only guys I've seen this where they do like 3, I think it's like up and down in the first inning, up and down in the second inning. So 3 up and down, 6 up and down. I would, if Skeens just gets on a couple inning roll here, I think that was like plus 450, maybe plus 350. I have to look for 6 batters in a row, essentially, to start the game and getting them all out.
Interesting. All right, let's transition. Zach, we're going to start with you. I want to go to Cardinals Reds. And by the way, I see a lot of questions and comments in the chat. I will get to those. It's important because these first 2 games start at 12:40. Then we're going to get a little bit of a break until those 2 games at 1:10. So let's get these bets out. Happy birthday, by the way, Rick's 1965. Your birthday. Let's get some wins for your birthday. Zack Cimini, talk to me about a Lars Nootbaar bet in Cardinals Reds.
Yeah, he's been having a really hot bat lately. Had a multi-hit game in 3 straight games. And yesterday in the doubleheader, just in general, we saw St. Louis really have success, 15 total runs. Nootbaar actually homered in the first game of that doubleheader. And then I examined Andrew Abbott. He's coming off a shaky outing, but last year against St. Louis, he had 2 red flags. One of the outings, he had a season high 6 walks, and in the other game, he gave up a season high 6 runs. So I think Abbott could struggle on this one. I look for Nootbaar to continue his success. And you can hear a little background noise. I am at my local casino today, so I've got a live view of all the games that are about to take place.
That is so awesome. Okay, we're going to get back to that in a second, Zach. Let's go because we've got 3 minutes before this game starts. I wasn't sure at first. I thought that was just like one of those like screen things that people put up, and then I realized they were like lights flashing and people moving. Anyway, we'll get back to that in a second. All right, let's go to who else has a play in this one. Tom Casale, you like the Cardinals money line. I like this one too. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Reds have some pretty big splits against right and left-handed hitters. They're batting just 215 against left-handers, and they hit a lot better on the road than at home so far this season. Only 218 at home. So I think this is a good spot with a left-hander on the mound for the Cardinals. I also like we don't have these on the site, but I like under Reds team total as well.
All right, under Reds team total.
Lead-off hit, Ian Happ, right off the bat, first pitch.
Wow.
He's seen him a lot. It can help. It really can.
Wow. That is very,
Tucker
very
hasn't
interesting.
seen him at all, huh?
No, probably not. I don't know if
Yeah.
he faced the Astros last year. So this is probably the first look Tucker's ever getting at him, which that could be tough because he has such good stuff.
I'm just looking at that, just like who had numbers off him previously.
I remembered on Skeens last year at the All-Star game, I was talking to Christian Yelich, and he was saying he's like a veteran because of how he sets you up. And it was like facing a 30-year-old ace instead of a 22-year-old because his stuff is so good and he knows how to pitch you and knows how to work you. So that could be tough if you haven't seen him before. And that's why I think it's better the more that they've seen him.
So did we just lose then? We lost, Sniper, your initial bet, correct?
No, I had Pirates no hits in the first. I only talked
That's
about
my
Colin
bad.
Ray.
That's my bad. Okay, gotcha.
Hell no,
right.
I'm not taking the Cubs not to get hits. Come on.
For some reason, I was thinking the Cubs were at home, and that's why I got confused there. All right, exactly. Okay, good stuff. Does anybody else have anything in Cardinals Reds before I take a look at the chat? I don't think so. Okay,
Nope.
As we're monitoring this Cubs Pirates game, I've got the game on. I'm usually on like a 10-second delay, even though I'm like plugged in properly. So watching this one as Skeens, what's the count here on Tucker? 1 and 2. Okay. So let's look at the chat, and you guys can hand up if you see something and need to say something. Let's see here. Joe Neuenfeld, Jason Harrod, Jay Swift, everybody, thank you for being here. Brian Reynolds over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, -135, says Big Cheesy. Casale and Sniper on the same screen at the same time. Is this the first time this has happened? This is the second person that's made this comment.
We've been on the early edge together.
Yeah, we've met before. Only a couple times though, not a ton.
All right, Big Cheesy also on the Cubs money line. I just went ahead and I couldn't get the Cubs first. I couldn't get the Cubs no run first inning in there, but I did get as we get one out in the Pittsburgh game. I did get the Cardinals money line, and so I just want everybody to know I'm sweating that with Tom and whoever else taking St. Louis money line here. Let's see. Tucker over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. We talked about that. Nolan Arenado over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Anybody have any thoughts on Arenado over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs? Go ahead, AMags.
Well, truthfully, I can look that up for you very quickly, but I wanted to ask, are we getting a delay in that game, Sniper? I think I saw you mention that. I don't know.
Well, that was my prediction. I'm sorry. There was supposed to be storms in the area, but the Reds are taking the field right now and it looks nice. Yeah. So I was wrong. I already missed one there. I did not bet anything on that, but I did miss one.
So it wasn't loading up for me. That's why I thought maybe it was in a delay.
All right.
On the Arenado, he looks a little bit better this year, a little more power, more walks and strikeouts. Obviously still a low average, not the Arenado we got used to in Colorado. He's never coming back, but pretty good. And he's got a lefty and Abbott on the mound. It's a good ballpark. If the weather is going to hold off, it's warm. It's probably humid since it was supposed to storm. So pretty good play there on Arenado, I would say.
All right. Moshi says he's got the Pirates first inning money line. I love this. Least first inning bets -150. Okay, so that's a bet in here. We've got Vlad home run +550 from Steve Folkerts. Nick Horner to score a run live at even money. Okay, so maybe we can move on while we watch these two games to the next one. Royals first 5, somebody says. We're going to get to that game in a second. But let's start with D-backs-Mets. I think this one's really interesting, particularly with the pitchers on the mound. AMags, I'm going to start with you on this one. Any thoughts on a bet early in D-backs-Mets?
I was actually, I think I put it in for us. I was looking at like the walks for each of these pitchers. You might be able to play some of the walk total overs. But if you wanted something in the early innings, I said it in the Discord. I think it smells like a Zack Gallen solid start. Like I wouldn't doubt if there's a no-run first inning here, or if you get like an under in the first 5. I don't know. He's been bad, right? He hasn't been great, but then the kind of pitcher that he is, and these guys can kind of take little things from one start to the next. And I actually do think he's improving a little bit. So it smells of a good start that then stinks everybody's bets. I wouldn't doubt if we get some lower run totals.
I disagree.
Go ahead.
I don't like how Gallen looks at all right now. He had one good start so far, and that was in Yankee Stadium when it was freezing cold. It's a little bit different conditions wise. The Mets are feeling so good at home. They've got a lefty in Juan Soto who really needs to get going. I think it's probably a good spot for him. So I took Mets over 2.5 runs in the first 5.
What about?
And I can totally see what AMags is saying too. I could totally see Gallen with a get right start when the Mets have probably been playing too well at home.
Well, doesn't correct me if I'm wrong, and I didn't have time to look this up. Isn't Gallen? Doesn't he get off to slow starts? I mean, this isn't like, wasn't it last year he got off to a slow start as well?
Maybe the year before he started the All-Star game, but last year it sounds right that
tailed off big time in August.
Worse first half than second half last year too.
Yeah, last year those first few months for Gallen, 3.6.
He got right in May and June.
Yeah, he tailed off towards the end of the season. I think it seems like a spot that Zack Gallen would get touched up. He hasn't been great, but then I did watch the last start. Like I really didn't think he was that bad in the last start. 4 hits in 5 innings. So we'll see what happens, but it just smells of a day that everybody bets against him, and then he throws 7 shutout innings or something.
Could totally see that.
I think that Zach. Before you go, I just like the key here for me is it's plus 140 on the Diamondbacks. I just feel like at a certain point, it's like, geez, I almost feel like I have to take who I know to be a good pitcher, even though he hasn't been a good pitcher, when they're giving me plus 140 and the Mets on the other side, minus 160. Zach, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sia. And this is why we do in-game action in baseball, because this is something I wouldn't touch pre-game. But you look at it, it was floating around high minus 140s. Now we're seeing minus 165, minus 167 where I'm at currently. So you look at what happened yesterday. The Mets were 13-1 at home. I think it's a little bit of chase from the market right now. The success at home kind of reminds me of the Padres last week and what happened with the Rays. So I would eye the Diamondbacks in game, even if they're down a couple of runs, for potentially stealing the game late.
That's interesting. Also interesting.
Piggyback on that.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Senga's really good, and he's got the ghost forkball and everything, but I don't know about 1.26 ERA good. So you might, in addition to what Zach was saying, just to kind of add on to that, we might be waiting on the other shoe to fall here for Senga as well.
Tom, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I kind of agree with AMags. I was looking at this game, and I wanted to take the Mets, and I haven't taken them the past few games, and I'm like, this feels like a game where I'm going to be 1-2 late, and then because he's right, Gallen hasn't looked good. The sniper's right, and I just feel like that's one of these games you're gonna come in a little bit late and get caught. So that's why I stayed away.
All right. I don't think. Do we have any more pre-flop bets in this one? Sniper, you did you said the Mets won, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Mets.
I have Mets over 2.5 runs for the first 5. I feel like the other guys want to talk everybody out of that, and that's okay too. So that's why we're all here. Everybody can listen to all the information that we say and decide which side you like.
I'm actually looking at. Go ahead.
If we all don't agree too, but also just something funny about Gallen. You look at him, right? 4 runs given up, then 0, then 5, then 2, then 6, then 3. Maybe Sniper is right. Maybe today is another 7 or a 6 or something. He kind of keeps going up and down, it seems, this year as you look at his starts in terms of runs given up. So
Well, you guys also said that he started to come around last year in May, and I don't know if anybody checked the calendar or checked the Justin Timberlake and NSYNC means, but it is in fact May 1st. I was actually looking at. I mean, I mean, the sites are all over the board on this, like plus 120 at BetMGM, but other sites have this at plus 136, plus 140, and I was curious to see what the first 5 plus a half line is. I don't know that this is the time to take that particular line. I'd probably just want to take the money line. Zach Gallen's either good or he's not good, but you're probably getting a really good price on the first 5 plus a half there as well. Any response to that before we get to Royals Rays? No. Okay.
What's the price on plus a half here?
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up, and it's for whatever reason I'm not finding it, but I certainly know it's off.
Got another leadoff hit with Cincinnati.
Did the Pirates get any hits in this bottom of this inning?
Not yet.
How many outs are we at there?
Just one out.
Okay.
So first 5 run line minus 110 on FanDuel for the plus a half.
I'm looking now at the first 5 plus a half is minus 115.
Yeah,
at DK. I'm looking at BetMGM right now as well. I think it's in that minus 115 range.
I would need like another 10 cents, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would just, if I was going to do the
Even
first
money.
5, I guess I would just take the money line there.
Even money, yeah. Yeah, I would definitely just rather take the money line if I was going to.
I lost to Reynolds home run. Somebody,
Wow.
I think Cheesy said in the chat.
Wow.
Big Cheesy said what?
I believe he called it earlier. He said Brian Reynolds would hit a home run.
Very, very impressive. Big Cheesy. Reynolds home run. You know, when we start doing these, we need to have, and okay, so we're 0 for 1 right now, but we need to have like, I'd love to be able to track all the picks, even the ones, I mean, I don't know if that's even really possible, but you know, Big Cheesy certainly is in here all the time. He's super sharp. So follow some picks in there too. Looks like Moshi has his minus 150 covered with the Pittsburgh Pirates there. 1-0. Is it, are we thinking of jumping in on the Cubs at a certain point? Like, is there a live bet, like a Cubs money line or Cubs plus 1.5 runs or something like that? Anybody like that? Or is it just way too early to consider that?
You could probably wait a little bit. I mean, it's when Skeens gets to the second half of the lineup, shouldn't be too much of a problem. You could wait 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, something to keep in mind for sure. Okay, let's go to Twins Guardians. No. Oh, we have 5. Do we have 5 games? I'm sorry, I keep saying 4 games. We got the Royals and the Rays at 110 and the Twins Guardians at 110 that we still have to cover. 20 minutes away from those 110 games. Let's go Royals, Rays, and let's go AMags. Kick us off. You got a bet in this one?
Hey, real quick, I did want to just say for that last one. So I played just like a fun little small parlay here, like half a unit at the most. 2 walks for Zach Gallen, 2 walks for Kodai Senga, and then 2 walks tonight for Kikuchi. Plus 147 for those 3 guys to walk a pair each. So just before that game kicks off, if you want to toss in a little parlay there.
Okay. Let's go to Royals, Rays. AMags, you got something in this one?
Royals, Rays. I think, did I submit one for that? I don't know if I had one for that one.
Fair enough. Tom Casale, talk to me about
Royals stolen bases.
Oh, yes. I could talk about that in a second, but let Tom go.
Yeah, I went with Lugo over 4.5 strikeouts. It has to be 4.5 though. A lot of books had 5.5. That's where I thought it should be. He's gone over 4.5 in 3 of 4. And what I like about Lugo is, you know, when I take a over on a strikeout prop, I want a guy who's gonna be in the game, and he typically pitches at least 6 innings. So I thought at the 4.5, good number. 5.5, I would pass.
Okay. Seth Lugo over 4.5 strikeouts. Zack Cimini, you don't have a pre-flop bet, but you're keeping an eye on an in-game wager. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, the Kansas City Royals, where they've struggled this season. I know it's early on in the year, but this is where they've hit a wall. 1 game above 500, that's been the highest they've been this season. So I'll be looking at the Rays. They've been struggling at the plate, just 1 run over the last 2 games. So maybe they do struggle early against Seth Lugo, who showed great command his last start, his deepest out, I think, year against the Houston Astros, went 8 innings. So something where I want to see if there's an opportunity, I will get on the Tampa Bay Rays at some point.
All right. And Sniper, I know you're keeping an eye on a player for a prop.
Yeah, not necessarily a play for early in the game or anything like that, but if anybody wants to jump on any props, I am eyeing Vinny Pasquantino. He has one of the highest pull the ball in the air percentages in all of baseball. 30% of his in play of the balls he puts in play are pulled in the air, and he's a left-handed hitter. And remember, where the Rays are playing home games now is George Steinbrenner Stadium in Tampa, which mirrors the dimensions of Yankee Stadium. So a really short porch in right field. He hit a home run last night. He had been so bad throughout all of April. Hit a home run last night. Maybe it's time for him to get going here and give Bobby Witt Jr. a little help. So I like the spot for any hitting Vinny Pasquantino prop.
Interesting. Ramon Prado sounds pretty confident. He says Royals first 5 money line. Book it. I don't have any.
Right.
I don't have any thoughts there. I mean, my initial thought, and you guys shouldn't listen to me versus the other 4, was I kind of liked the Rays, even though I don't think they've been scoring many runs. Shane Baz, I kind of like there. But anybody like Tampa or KC on the first 5?
I like the book it. Back in the day when I used to tout a play to my friends, if I said book it, those plays probably hit about 18%. Let's just put it that way. But I like the confidence of the book it.
Anybody have any thoughts? I mean, again, Lugo seems to be somebody you guys are kind of supporting. So would the first 5 be a potential play there?
Sure. I mean, the only reason I stayed away on that, I will say, is Shane Baz on the mound for the Rays. He's very inconsistent. He either has it or he doesn't. If he goes out and he looks really, really good in the first inning, he might well deal for 5 innings. It's hard to tell. It might be better to get a look at him in the first and see like what kind of stuff he has.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's move to Twins Guardians as we monitor these games. We have a comment, and it's from Big Cheesy, who just hit a play. He says, I'm going to take – this is interesting. I would have thought he would have gone Yerfy, but he's going Nerfy on Minnesota, Cleveland. Anybody have a response to that before we get into some potential plays? We got Woods Richardson versus Lively on the mound. Go ahead.
My play is complete opposite of that. I have a yes run first inning here. Simeon Woods Richardson can be gotten to in the early going. There are decent numbers against him the first time through the order. Usually pitchers get worse as they go, but he's actually been hit around the first time through the order, and he's been bad on the road so far this year. It's in Cleveland. One guy to watch, Jose Ramirez is 0 for 8 in his career against Simeon Woods Richardson. And this isn't a situation where it's a guy who has the Skeens level stuff. I feel like Ramirez is too good now that he's seen him 8 times. The Guardians are really, really good at advanced scouting, by the way. I think they can get somebody on in front of J-Ram and he can find a gap or hit the ball at the ballpark. I believe the Guardians are going to score in the first, but I'm just going to take either team scoring because I could totally see the Twins getting to Ben Lively as well. He's given up 3 runs so far in the first inning in 6 starts. So I think somebody's going to score here.
AMags, you have something potentially in game on Ramirez.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it's minus 160 for the over 1.5 hit run RBI. If we can get through that first at bat where he doesn't do anything, then as Sniper mentioned, right, and that's a 9th at bat that he's seen him and still hasn't done anything. I totally agree. I think he's way better than Woods Richardson. I think he's too good to continue to not have success against the guy that hasn't been that good. So maybe let's see what that price is after the first at bat if he doesn't do anything.
All right, Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question for the guys because I thought Matt brought up something interesting because I always hear, like, if I read analysis, sometimes people will say, well, he's 0 for 8 against this guy. And you were mentioning that might actually be a good thing, right? Because he's seen him 8 times. What point of at bats do you say, okay, this guy can't hit this pitcher? Is there like a threshold there?
Not many more, honestly. As long as it depends on the players, but it can start to be a mental block, probably mid-teens or so. If it starts to be 0-15, 0-16 or something like that, or the opposite way, like if it's a bad hitter who is 8 for 16 against a good pitcher, you might start to have that, man, this guy owns me. And then, it's one of those things, like I always go back, and I know it's a fictional movie, but I always hear Crash Davis, like, if you think that's why you're having success, then you are. It's the opposite. If you think you just can't do anything against this guy, then it's probably going to continue. I don't think we're there yet on 0-8 when it's Jose Ramirez and Simeon Woods Richardson. So for me, it's a feel, but if it got to double that 0-16, then I would say, yeah, that's a trend, and he's never going to hit him.
All right. We got Brandon.
Can I say one thing on that quick too, Sia?
Mm-hmm.
So for me on that, I'd like to also look when those at bats were. Like pitchers nowadays are doing a lot of different things from year to year. So you may face a guy in 2022, 2023. Sometimes it looks like you have a huge sample size, but really you only have like a maybe 1 or 2 game sample size against the guy as he's throwing the pitches he currently throws, whereas he was a different pitcher 6 years prior, right?
Yeah.
So just always look. Ramirez, actually, all of those 8 at-bats came last year.
Listen to everybody talk, always trying to get smarter at this stuff. So appreciate it, and I will talk to you guys soon.
Sounds
right,
good,
man.
Tom.
Good to see
All
you
right.
again.
We'll let Tom go. We'll be out of here within the next, I think, 10 minutes or so. Mark Thomas says, pays to watch live. Big Cheesy says, it was my first cricket play. What are we rooting for? Oh, Cubs, another home run? Kyle Tucker.
Hit a bomb.
Wait,
There you go.
Hey,
Tucker in his
Kyle
first
Tucker.
time seeing Skeens.
Third time through.
I'm so
Get him out. Get the bullpen up.
There were so many times where I've got my phone in my hand here and I was like at plus 350 or the plus 2.5. Like there were so many times I was going to take that and I never actually pressed the button. They are now plus 105. Does anybody want to comment on that? I feel like at this point,
Dive on it.
yeah, I'm all right.
Plus
I didn't
210. I mean, that's when I jumped in. I'm
Stop
cool
showing
with that.
off. Stop showing off, AMags.
I'm cool with that. I
Make
don't
me
need the
feel
plus
bad.
3, whatever,
It's
man.
still plus, and it's a tie game, and
It's
the
still
Cubs
plus.
have been. I mean, this isn't my fan bias. The Cubs have legitimately been one of the most prolific offenses this year at scoring runs in bunches. Like once they start going and the ball starts rolling, then they score. Then they can put crooked numbers on the board. So
Is this a team that you think can, like, let's just assume the Cubs are at full strength, the Dodgers are at full strength. It's the NLCS. Is this a team that you go ahead.
I would wish that we were in the American League, is what I would say,
Well,
because the AL's way weaker.
it is.
National League is going to be. There are some major potential powerhouses in the National League between, if they're going right, the Mets, if they're going right, the Phillies, if they're going right and they get all the way there, the Braves, the Cubs, if they're going right,
3-2 Cubs.
Dodgers,
3-2
another bomb.
Cubs.
So that's going to be Sia. All right. And then you get into the other NL West teams, like are the Diamondbacks going to make the playoffs? Are they going to be right, or the Padres or the Giants? It's the NL looks completely loaded. It's hard to handicap how it would go down because they're all small sample series.
Yeah, but what I'm really asking is, if both teams are at full strength, and I know the playoffs, anything can happen. A pitcher can have a bad day.
Both teams at full strength, the Dodgers are better, but their rotation is not even close to full strength right now.
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell, will they be? Because they have a bunch of injury-prone guys. But if you have like the best versions of Ohtani, Yamamoto, Glasnow, and who would be their number 4, Sasaki, if he's right, Kershaw, if all of a sudden he gets back to his old self, the Dodgers are way better. But I just don't know. Are they ever going to be right?
Is Skeens going to get pulled here? Unfortunately, I have a different game on.
I wouldn't be surprised. That AMags, that under 17.5 outs right now looks pretty.
I think a lot of people hit that too. That's why I'm asking about it. And who was it?
You need him to get pulled. I mean, yeah, he's at 82 pitches right now.
And Bush just hit a line drive single up the middle, completely squared him up.
I mean,
So
are we getting a visit? Are we getting a mound visit here?
Yeah, they got a lefty up warming. I don't think they would set the lefty back down.
They want him to finish the inning.
Yeah, they want him to finish.
I don't know about
the inning
sending
and
him
be
back
done.
out for the 6th now. They probably will. What's he at? Pitching?
You know what? That's the thing. Like they'll sit the lefty down. He'll get out of it. They'll sit the lefty down. He'll go back out for the 6th for no reason.
He'll be mid-80s in pitches. They might pull him. I'm 50-50 on if he goes back out for the 6th.
I mean, let's get a single here, and then maybe they pull him or a walk. Because
my mood is significantly better now. Something must have happened within the last 10 minutes.
2-0 to 3-2. That was quick. You love to see it. I went in, by the way, on the plus 105. I mean, it looks like so many in the chat got the, granted, there was a lot of plus 190s, plus 210s, but plus 330, plus 350, plus 360. Some people got on that. So that's always good to see. All of a sudden,
what Cheesy just mentioned, Skeens, almost every game is K-line is around 8, 9. That's why a couple weeks ago, you might remember on Early Edge, I said, I know it sounds sacrilege to take a Skeens under, but I hit it.
yeah,
By a half, but I still hit it because everybody's jumping on the Skeens overs so much that the number's getting too high.
Diamondbacks 1st and 3rd, 1 out in the top
Skeens
of the
got out of
third.
it.
Say it again.
Skeens got out of it. But
he
I
did?
will say you're gonna. So he got Horner. You had a lefty warming, and Pete Crow Armstrong is up after. But then I believe you have two. Is Amaya? Amaya's a righty, right? So you have two righties.
I don't know if he's going to let PCA see him a third time.
Yeah, that's the lefty that he was warming the lefty
if he comes in and he gets through that, then you're going to get 6 innings completed.
Mm-hmm. For them, well, Swanson did hit a bomb off him though. So I don't know if he lets him see him a third time too. Bring the lefty in. Come on. Bring the lefty.
All right, we're gonna go maybe 5 more minutes. So if you have any questions about what's going on right now, I've got Arizona first 5 money line, by the way, just so everybody knows. So I'm hoping.
I want to give the shout back to Brian Tonsoni in the chat, who just said IU and the Cubs gotta love Matt Snyder. I think I've mentioned this before on Early Edge, but he didn't even remember this. But my freshman year in high school, he was a helper for the varsity baseball team, so he was kind of my coach once upon a time.
Wait, Brian Tonsoni was?
Yes.
That is
I remember the
cool
name because I have a good memory. And he said, yeah, I was at Noblesville High School was where I played. And yeah, I was a freshman when he was helping with the varsity team.
That is
he kind of coached me once, kind of.
That is interesting. Brian, thanks for being in here. I'm not super familiar with that name. I'm glad you dropped in. Hopefully you can drop in the future as well. Maybe subscribe to this SportsLine YouTube channel. It's free. Okay. Anything else going on before we get out of here? As I look at the Diamondbacks game, we got a 3-0 count. 2 men on, 2 out. Twins Guardians still 1-0. Reds up 2-1. And we've got the Cubs up 3-2. They are now minus 180, but it's the bottom of the 5th. A lot of time to go there. And then, of course, we got the Rays up 1-0 on the Royals. Go around the horn here. Zach, I'll start with you. Anything you're looking at the moment?
Yeah, in game, I was in agreement with you on the Diamondbacks. I think it's a good time to jump in on him with Gallen having success. He didn't give up a run, which has been a problem early in games. Bases loaded situation right now. Maybe we can get a couple runs here.
Yeah.
But as far as the other games, I don't have an opinion on in game currently.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because the Diamondbacks are plus 118 still to win this game. I mean,
trouble.
Granted, it's 2 out, but
yeah, there's a conference on the mound. Senga, bases loaded, 2 out. Conference on the mound there, which he could get out of it.
Sure,
but it's where are they in the lineup? Are they at Pavin Smith?
Not sure.
Yeah, and he's been great so far this year.
And we're in the 3rd inning here. I mean, first 5 is minus 110. I mean, I already bet. Oh, it's plus 110 now. Did they get out of the inning? They might have just gotten out of the inning. That's what would explain that. All right. So, Sniper, before we get out of here, what anything else we're looking at?
Not necessarily, other than once somebody brought it up in the chat, the Rockies Giants. I really like thinking about Verlander there to get the win. I don't think he's necessarily going to be dominant this year, but the Rockies offense is just absolutely wretched on the road. And you could totally see Verlander getting through 5 innings and only giving up 1 run, and the Kyle Freeland getting touched up by the Giants offense, which was held down to an extent in San Diego. So I like the Giants on the run line. I like Verlander to get the win there.
Okay. And AMags, anything you're looking at?
I was similarly actually just looking at Justin Verlander, not only to record the win, but I mean, some of his strikeout metrics are pretty, startling, honestly, for what he produced last year and then what we would expect out of him. So it's a team that strikes out a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a bunch of strikeouts tonight. Maybe something like you take, 1 less strikeout than his line is at with 6.5. I think maybe you go with like a 5 strikeout or 6 strikeout level, and then you play the money line or something like that. I like to do that when you have these heavy money lines. You kind of can't play, what is it, minus 300 or something? You can't bet that. So maybe you look at the pitcher to record the win still plus 130 here, right?
I like that. Brewers, there's a Brewers Nerfy posted in the chat. Sean Burke on the mound for the White Sox can give up home runs. Brewers have power hitters stacked toward the front of their lineup. I don't really like that at all.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think we'll close right there, gentlemen. I do want to shout out Brian Tonsori again. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Tonsoni, excuse me. Brian Tonsoni. He said, Sniper, you could play ball back in the day. Your thoughts, your comments, your reaction before we get out of here.
Yeah, I was like, how truthful do you want me to be? I was all state first team.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I didn't know that. Go ahead, AMags.
We got double barrel action in the Pirates bullpen right now. I don't see how he would go back out there. You got a righty and a lefty warming up. There's no way he's going back out there.
Dansby just hit a home run. You get him a third time. PCA has been really hitting for power recently. He'd get him a third time.
So that's beautiful.
That would be something new to see two guys warming up and then him still go out there. So hopefully that one hits for us.
Absolutely love that. And I know a lot of people are on that. And credit to the chat because there was somebody that put that under outs in there. The Cubs, hopefully that comes through. I want St. Louis to come through because I know Tom was on that. I was on that. Tweet at us if you had a good day or like once these bets roll in, tweet at us. Let us know if you had a good day betting wise. Hopefully you had a good time doing this. And of course, we're going to be doing this a lot with these three. Mike McClure is going to join us on some of those shows. Tom Casale, of course. We're going to have a nice, healthy mix of people on all of these MLB live betting streams. So thank you for joining us. I guess we'll catch you next on the Early Edge tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. And again, thank you for joining us. Thanks to Ben for doing all the work behind the scenes. We'll see you very soon on the Early Edge next time.